Welcome back after a little break. Today I would like to speak about a few things that was in the past Parsha and this week's Parsha, things that is explained in a bit of a, I would say, childish way, especially Yosef's revenge on his brothers and on his, kind of, it's a bit strange what he has done. So I would like to give an extra dimension to it. I will then also explain a little bit the two dreams that Yosef had originally. Why those two dreams? It's a personal interpretation. I will also, based on everything that I'm going to explain you, is a little bit based on Manitou point of view of the way that he sees the role of Yosef in the history of Klal Yisrael. And then eventually we'll see about Tes B'Teves as a special day. We have Asor B'Teves Friday, but Tes B'Teves is also a specific day we shall see, and then I will give you a little very short explanation on the celebration of the Christians, which is on the 25th of December. So two explanations why the 25th of December. Now, in order, we saw that, we know that there are many brothers. The natural leader that should have been chosen as a leader of Klal Yisrael should be Reuven. It's clear that Reuven is the B'chor, and he should have been the leader that should lead Klal Yisrael. And we don't see anything in the Torah, besides in this week's Parsha, where he's mentioned as being the B'chor, but he doesn't take any leadership function at all. It was very important to be the B'chor because Yankov especially bought the B'chor from Esau because he wanted to become, he had ambition. So it means that, in other words, it's not possible to be a leader if there is a B'chor. Okay, so since you could have said, leave the B'chor to Esau and you'll be the leader and you'll be the B'chor. No, it seems that the B'chor is related to leadership, and leadership is related to B'chor. You need to be both. So it's a very interesting concept that Manitou wants to give, is that simply said, and it's quite strong, and therefore I'm saying it in the name of Manitou, because I will not say it myself, but Reuven was simply not a good leader. He did not have the capacity of leadership. He was Taka the B'chor, but did not have the capacity of leadership. And he bases himself in the Posuk that after they've sold Yosef, kind of, and then he went to see Yosef Reuven. Reuven went to look where he is, and he said, "Vayoshev elecho vayomer hayeled enenu v'ani ono ani bo." Is kind of a doubt. He doesn't know what to do. A leader has to know what to do. He has to find alternatives. Has to be okay. This is where now. You do this. You two go to the west. You two go to. That's the leader. And he simply says, "Oh no, Anibo." He doesn't know what to do, and he already gives up. So that's a lack of leadership. So then there is Shimon and Levi that are the next. Now, one of the things that I realized while preparing this week's share that I need to absolutely crack this difficult subject is Shimon. So Shimon is an interesting shevet, an interesting personality that is, when you look in Parshas Vayechi, he gets cursed by his father, by the blessings. He gets cursed by the father. And even worse than being cursed, he gets, how do you call it, ignored by Moshe Rabbeinu. If there is a brocha, he gives to all the shvotim a brocha. Shimon, he doesn't even give. Ignores. Ignoring, they say, is worse than being cursed. I prefer to be cursed than being ignored. Some would say. I remember when I was in Belgacom, that's what they used to say. Yeah, the whole thing we're, but at least they speak about us. They hate us, but they speak about us. It's much worse is that you have a brand that nobody knows and that nobody speaks about. At least it creates emotion. So this Shimon was really a very specific person, and we will see how Yosef, what Yosef will do with that. And so the next in line is, of course, Yehuda, and Yehuda indeed takes the lead. he thinks that he has the capacity in leading the Klalis.
So what about Levi?
What?
What about Levi?
No, he's also cursed originally. Shimon and Levi were cursed by Yaakov Avinu, and so they are not really appropriate to become leaders. And so Yehuda is the one that has
Levi
to.
is a leader.
What?
Levi at the end they become
Yeah,
the leader.
they become kind of.
They do a coup d'etat.
What?
They did a coup.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
the Chet it's a coup.
It's Mila Shemelai, it's Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron they become a de facto. But eventually it is Yehuda that it's really, you see it in this week's Pashas that Yehuda is the one that Levi we don't hear at all. In the whole story, there is no negotiation. Levi is quiet, is retracted. It's always Yehuda that speaks. But there is another brother, which is Yosef, and Yosef, he is actually the preferred leader, but he's also extremely talented. And he manages de facto to become the leader. And this is what Manitou sees in the Posuk, and it's in the Medrash. Ele told this Yaakov, Yosef ben Shva esre shomo, o yoroye es echov batzoin. So they put a comma, ho yoroye es echov. So he was the roye es echov. He was the leader, the manager of the brother. He was the shepherd of the brothers.
That's why they hit.
What?
That's why they hit.
And so Manitou explained that Manitou is here in these pashas takes a very, how do you say, pragmatic but dangerous. We will not say it in Besmedrash, but you understand? He says, yeah, Yosef was indeed an immature leader. He was only 17 years old. He was immature. He had fantastic talents, but not mature. He didn't know how to speak to people. You don't speak, even if you're the leader and you're more talented, but there is a way to speak. If you want to motivate, everybody knows today management styles. There are different management styles that you can do. Yosef lacked this emotional intelligence, the EQ, not the IQ, emotional, and he did not know how to deal with that. So he had to mature in life, and that's why they indeed hated him.
But it's obvious the Medrash says that he had some interpretation mistakes about his brother.
Yeah. So the mention, that's also that he was
misjudged.
He's a very former. He's what I call the yekker. He's like he's really no. That's how I call him. He's extremely cool. Does not understand and no. He's really what the ones that's it. This is how it is. This is like black and white, very black and white. There's no gray zone, and that's typical a leader of a very strong leaders. They are very black and white. They're opinionated. That's the strong characters. They can go to war because they see black and white. We Europeans, especially. I mean, I am a worst leader because for me, but you understand. You have to understand the other side. Too much thinking and too much. But it's a leadership is really somebody that's black and white, but that's a disadvantage as well, as you can make big mistakes or you can So that's how he describes Yosef. So he was de facto the leader, plus Yaakov Avinu also preferred him, and he showed it to him, and he gave him the Soines Passim, which is a sign of you are going to be the CEO of the new company, which will be Hebrew.com, the new adventure that we're going to live together. You're going to be the big CEO. And it was also too early for Yaakov, because, by the way, it's not through Yosef, but it will be through Binyamin. It was not the Manitou says. It's at the end. It's always Binyamin. It's Binyamin that is the first king. It's Binyamin that has the Beis Hamikdash. So it is actually a mistake. He should have waited for Binyamin to grow, because it is at the end. It will be Binyamin that will play the role of Yosef. Yeah. So it's those two.
According to some sources, Binyamin wasn't born.
Yeah, but let's assume here that that according to textual interpretation, Binyamin was born already before. So let's keep it. Yeah. That's what also I struggled a little bit when I was, because I also in the beginning, but he wasn't born yet. No, but he was born, and he was. Anyway, it was when he came to Mitzrayim, he had 10 children. So it's now what first maybe I'll now that I already said that. So now you see already a bit of a competition. So Reuven not because he's not capable. Shimon and Levi is because they have a strafregister. Yeah,
They have two.
Huh?
They got two. They friend with Dina and
Yeah.
Yosef as well.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they are the ones that
Yeah.
the Ishaloch, but that's not written in the Apostle. That's already matters. Yeah, yeah. But before that story, so it is Yehuda that is next in line, which Taki takes up the lead, and we will see that he goes through a very difficult time, and he managed to make the Shuva movement. But Yosef is the one that de facto, he is the one that Yaakov chooses and over his son, and creates hereby a very strong tension. Such a strong tension, which I liked very much. I think I saw it in Money too, is that the reason why they took such a harsh, they wanted even to kill him at some point, they wanted to remove him, is because they saw him as a threat, not just because they hated his guts, but because they saw, look what happened to our grandfather and to our father, that at some point, one brother takes it all and sends away the other. Yishmael, why not Yishmael with Yitzchak? But what happened? Avraham sent away Yishmael. Yitzchak, I mean, not Yitzchak, but basically Esau was sent away, was pushed away. And so basically they thought to themselves, if history repeats itself, at some point Yosef will become the leader, but he will become the sole leader of the Jewish people, and the brothers will be put on the side.
Already in the past, sharing something very true, which is not the case here. It's usually the influence of the mother
Yeah.
that decides who is going where. But in this case,
There is no
Rachel, there is no risk.
No, but they were afraid that Yaakov will take that decision because Yaakov showed such a preference for him.
No, I understand, but,
that
but even for Esau, it was the preferred, but it's the mother
that normally it's the mother
the
that decides.
As you said, in which one to balance.
Yeah.
But the mother is always.
Yeah, you're right. There was no mother. Yeah.
The love from special love for Yosef was well because he was the son of who?
Yeah.
That's Rashi also
Yeah. Yeah. But they.
So it's. I hear what you say that maybe Yaakov thought that he will be the leader, but it was maybe just
affectionate, more affection than.
And that's the reason why
political
that he got he's given a shot by Lovan.
Yeah, but I understand from their perspective that they're thinking that there is a chance here that Yosef will make sure to be the sole continuation of the Jewish people, and he will reject the brothers completely from the picture. So they saw him as a threat, and they could not take it, and therefore they decided to actually send him away. I mean, at the end to send him away. Now, there is something which I realized, which is a work in progress, but and I always wondered why there are two dreams. Yosef had two dreams, and the two dreams are different from each other. It's not just that there were different items, but in the first dream, when he speaks about how do you call it, alumois, I think it was, the wheat bundles, it does not mention the father and the mother, only brothers. And by the second dream, the father and the mother was also there. If I can, I want to suggest that there are here two alternatives that he saw himself. So he realized from his dream that he's going to be the Moshiach. He's going to be the leader of Klal Yisrael that will create the basis of the Jewish nation, the Yesod. By the way, Kabbalistically, Yosef is Yesod. In all the 10 spheroids, I already explained you multiple times, Yosef is Yesod. And what he did not know is that under Yesod comes Malchut, which is David. Which is again the Yosef and David, the Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David, that it's only temporary. But he believed that he's the Yesod, he's going to build the Yesod of Klal Yisrael. Now, what he did not know what he actually did not know, and these are the two dreams, there are two alternatives. The one alternative is he's going to create his own nation, and all the brothers will represent humanity. Or he's going to have one big family that will create a nation, but he's going to be just the one that sticks out. Okay? Is it a family of a nation and just Yosef is the leader of that family? Or is it, no, a new nation and the brothers represents humanity, represents the human beings, the humanity, which is represented by the Shvotim. But it's going to be one nation, which is going to be Yosef, which is going to be the father of the nation, will be Yosef. So there are two dreams, two alternatives. And those two alternatives are still possible. And that's where he had a doubt. How are we going to do that? He saw himself definitively as Mashiach. He was 100% sure that he would be Mashiach. The dream came through. Yaakov preferred him. He was extremely successful. Every time he went somewhere, he went to Mitzrayim, he went straight away up to become the leader, besides his period in prison. But even when he came out of prison, became the second in command of all Mitzrayim.
In prison, he was a soldier.
Also a leader in prison as well. So wherever he went, he became kind of a leader. So he had no doubt. The only question is he didn't know. Does it mean that I am the Yankov and the Yitzchok, that I have to continue the nation, or do I have to see it as a family and I will be just the king of the family? So the second dream, where there's the father and the mother, is the symbol of the family. And the first dream is not, there's no parents. In other words, these are 11 people, kind of the Shvotim that represents humanity. So that's a little bit his doubt that he had. Well, how is it going to be? Now, there is something which I find fascinating, and I don't know. I was reading Manitou, and then I developed. I don't know if it's Manitou or it's a bit of a combination. But what was the problem of Yosef? So he says, okay, imagine that those brothers, my brothers, they are also part of the nation. So I had the possibility. Either I'm going to do it myself with my two children, or I'm going to do it with Binyamin, together with Binyamin, or I'll have to do it with all the brothers. But those brothers, they are not okay. They sold me. So they are not a nation, people that I can trust and that are worthy becoming the Shiftei Kor. So what do I have to do now? So what he did is he tested them. So what did he do? Why was he not killed? Because of humanistic reasons? No. Why? Because of money. Ma betza. Ma betza is what money will we do? So I see here they are Geldfressers. They are willing to sell not their mother, but they are willing to sell their brother for money. They don't care. They don't care about brotherhood, family. Wow, we can make a good money here. We'll do it, right? So this is an element of money. So what does he do? He goes, when they come to Egypt, it's a perfect opportunity to test them. So what he does is he puts in wheat, and he also puts the money in their pockets. And now, what does he do? He says, you know what? I will keep Shimon. Why does he keep Shimon? Because Shimon is the least like brother. I still have to understand Shimon, the relationship. What?
The least, when you say?
Like is the least, is the most problematic of all the children, which has been rejected by Yaakov, and even more, as we said, for Moshe. In Zois HaBrocha, Shimon is not even mentioned. It's been ignored. So there is a problem with Shimon. If somebody has, maybe there is a Manitou on that, I don't know who can explain me Shimon. I feel sorry for him. I felt really sorry. Shimon is
from what I hear about Shimon is the fact that say it's a nationalist person. If you want, it's a Nazi one.
Is a what?
It's a Nazi, if you want. But by instance, it's a very nationalist. Everything that's not part of him, he will fight and destroy. He's on top of the other below. And that's why he was cursed. He has to go everywhere to lower his temper, to to be a leader. When you have to go in other places that you don't know strangers, you have to be able. If you are not, you will become a Nazi, basically.
Yeah.
And to
So he had this.
so
He has this. He
has
had to be. No, they were not allowed to be given a broker because then he has a possibility to rise and become a Nazi.
Because otherwise he will
Yeah.
become like
Yeah.
when I say Nazi, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to,
Understand. Yeah, I know what you mean. But that's why maybe Shimon also had to be encapsulated in Yehuda geographically in the nation to be contained a little bit. I don't know, but this Shimon is for me. We need to develop this further. So Shimon is the least of the. If I would keep Shimon, we'll see if and I give them the money. So now the brothers have an opportunity. What? Wow! I have l'argent et le beurre. That's what it basically was, right? I have the wheat and I've got the money, a lot of money. I'm not sure that they sold them for little money. It was equivalent of millions probably because it was mamish life and death. It was famine. Everything they sold was everybody. The whole world came. The demand was so high and the supply was so little that the prices, I'm sure, we're talking about equivalent of millions. And suddenly they have l'argent et le beurre. They come back home. So now, if they are geldfressers, then what would they do? They
leave Shimon.
They leave Shimon there, especially Shimon. Shimon is the easiest to leave because he's the troublemaker somehow. I don't know what, but he's a troublemaker. So they will not come back. We'll see. Either they leave him there, and that's it. And I know this is not the people that I will build a nation, not be by myself or with Binyamin, but then by myself, and then we'll see. And then they came back.
They didn't come back because of Shimon. They came back because they had no food anymore.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Sorry that
But anyway, they came back and they came back with the money and they wanted to give back the money, but they came back. They did not leave him. So there is an ulterior reason. But then
No, they could have come back under a false identity. Like
yeah, or send the children or somebody else.
keep the money.
Yeah.
No, and to buy food.
Yeah, you're right. It's a good point, but you understand there is here a test anyway, and then so they brought Binyamin, and then he said, you know what? He made a trick, and he put the via in Binyamin, and he said, I'm going to keep Binyamin, and here for sure he believed that this is really the top. They will leave him there. Why? Because this is Rochel, the big competitor. They were Leo's children, and Rochel they didn't like. There was a tension between those two. Rochel was the love. Yaakov loved Rochel. Leo, he was tricked into marrying, and this created a tension. So I'm going to leave Binyamin, and I'm going to see what they will do. Will they say, you know what? Okay, keep him, and we'll manage. We'll say to Yaakov that sorry, we took a risk and we failed. And the fact that Yehuda at that moment showed that he says to Yosef, take me instead, but let Binyamin go back to his father. For Yosef, this was an unbelievable act of self-sacrifice. It is at that moment that he could not take it anymore, and he burst out crying, and he said, I am your brother. Because he realized that Yehuda went through a metamorphosis, that he changed, that from a marbetza to make money, he was willing to overcome his own, animosity towards the children of Rochel, and give up his own kingdom, that he was going to become a slave in Mitzrayim, give up his own kingdom for the next, I don't know who it would be the next, and for the sake of saving a brother. And that is, so he's not verkauft for Geld. He does not sell his brother for gain, and he's really willing to give up his own life in order to actually save the family and his father pain and all the rest. And it is at that moment that Yosef said that, yes, okay, now I know we're going to build it as a family, and we all as a family have to come to this time. Therefore, he also asked Yaakov to join him in Mitzrayim. He says, Vayigash. It's a very interesting the posuk. It says when afterwards it says, "Geshu vayomer Yosef elecho, geshuno elai vayigoshu." I think this is really the moment that now is the time to come together, rejoining together. It's a moment where Yosef decided that they are the right Shvotim to build a nation, and the Shvotim decided that Yosef is going to be their leader in the family. So it's going to be a family like the second dream. It's not like the first dream. Okay, it's the second dream that was realized, not the first one. Okay,
And what's the role of the father and mother in the second reading?
it's a family. It's a symbol of family. For me, it's a symbol of family. The Rochel was dead already, which Yaakov told him. So you could answer it's maybe Bill, or but it's the role of. It's really simply the family. Family is always a father, and mother, and child. That's how a family is pictured. It's the symbol of the family.
Not work to say something.
I will let me see 50% of the story. The God doesn't bring in much, it's more the middle. But in fact, when the brothers came to Egypt, they were much stronger. They said to Joseph, if you don't let us go, we're going to destroy Egypt. So they don't come as weak people. Joseph is below them all the time. And even when they think about maybe we did an Avera, at no point Joseph become there. He said maybe we did something wrong there. They were right. They did a judgment.
Yeah.
He was guilty. He paid for it. That's it. I mean, point of view of the
but
brothers,
Reuven, we see that Reuven complained.
No.
He said, Reuven, that did make me do it. And he said to the brothers, you see, we should not have.
but that's the problem of Reuven.
Okay, so you put it to Reuven.
That's, for me, that's one of the ways not a leader, because you came to a judgment. You came to a
You don't.
if you don't have the guts to apply a judgment, you have nothing to do as a leader. But that's another story. But in fact, when they come to Egypt and the Russian son, they say, we're going to kill you. I mean,
No, that's not.
in the Russian, they say, we're going to
In the
destroy
Midrash, I'm talking about the text. The text.
They don't come as weak people. They come very strong. But the Torah brings the point of view of Yosef. Yosef feels from the beginning there's nothing against him. At no point he's making tshuva Yosef. At any point, he's not saying, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was. No. For him, it's perfect. Yosef.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yosef is a tzad. He's also called a tzaddik.
no, it's good at studying, but
And
then
he also,
here, if you have someone like this, you cannot speak to him. I mean, you want to slap him all day. I mean, people say, no, I'm perfect. You have nothing against me. I'm a tzaddik. I mean, you know, that's basically the answer. On the other hand, you have people like you that questions themselves.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's him saying, no, we will do a family, and I decide. We decide what?
Yeah.
I decide that you might join us if you consider me as a leader, Judah as a leader. I mean, and the point of view of the Torah is the opposite one, which is.
Yeah, I understand. You can. I think the Medrash is, when you look in the Medrash, it definitely does not go in that direction. I'm talking now purely textual. So if you look at the text, then it makes sense.
It's just that is the leader and the other that follows.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, and Yehuda is kind of the challenger of Yosef. You see also Yehuda very interesting. Like I said, Yehuda failed, and then he managed to with Tomo, and then he gives up and he admits on the Republic. He makes mistakes, but he does not. He takes the responsibility. He is willing to give up his life. He tells Yosef, "I made a mistake. You take me instead, and let Binyamin go." So he's somebody who takes responsibilities for his action. And that's what he's saying. Yosef does not. Eventually, Manitou is very harsh on Yosef, and he says it's a mistake. It was a mistake to bring his father. He should have left the father there. He should have left them the Shvotim in Eretz Yisrael, and he should have sent them with how do you call it? This money transfer to revolute or Western.
No, they knew that there was enough talk that they would come down to it.
Yeah, but you don't enough Torah. That's one of the questions. If there is enough Torah, do you have to fulfill it or not? You understand? That's the question. It's Paroi had to. Then you can say Paroi. There was enough Torah. There was also there's a Gemara. They speak about that.
They say himself to Yaakov to go down.
No, because after Yosef asked him. If Yosef would not propose him, Hashem would say, okay, stay there. And Yosef would be staying there and would be. So Yosef saw what Manitou says, the universality, he saw it as a cosmopolitan. It was Qui écrase trop?
Yosef, dans sa chute,
Ouais.
il a déjà gagné.
Ouais.
Est-ce que roi d'Égypte, il a éliminé
Ouais.
le cosmopolite.
Ouais.
Maintenant, tu as le choix, je rejoins Manu. Tu as le choix, laisse l'autre chute aussi survivre.
Ouais.
Non, il doit écraser, il est impérialiste.
Ouais.
Il doit impérialiser sa chute. Même mon père va se soumettre à moi.
Ouais.
Ça grince.
Il veut casser l'universalisme nationaliste.
Ouais.
Mais il dit qu'à la fin, il a fait chouva. À la fin de sa vie,
il veut être
entraîné en Israël. C'est typiquement les antisionistes. Je ne veux pas aller en Israël, mais enterré, là, je veux bien. C'est vraiment.
C'est acte de forcer tout dans cette direction ne peut pas être.
Ouais. En fait, c'est ça exactement ce qu'il dit. He says that the cosmopolitan Yosef believed, a bit like Abraham, that instead of making a nation there, how will I communicate to the nations? What is in the Middle East, the little country in the Middle East he didn't understand. People don't understand. Today we understand because everything that happens in Israel is the whole world speaks about it. Even the Chinese in Indonesia, they speak about Israel. Israel is, we don't understand that, but it is supernatural. There is a supernatural, and supernatural effect above that everything that happens in Israel has an impact on the whole world. He didn't understand that. So he believed that no, we have to create the base Chabad, where in Berlin, in Paris, in New York, where it's a tzitzer, where everything happens, where fashion exists, so he believed to go to Mitzrayim, and from there we will build this big monotheistic religion. But he made tshuva. So he really sees Yosef as somebody who did not follow the path of Hashem that told Abraham to go to Mitzrayim, and that Abraham going to go to Eretz Canaan, and Abraham that he left to Mitzrayim as an Avera, as the Ramban said. He did not see that somehow. That's why he criticizes Yosef a lot. That's why he criticizes also the non-religious Zionists, the Chilonim. He criticizes a lot because they're doing exactly the same as what Yosef does. And so they don't add the Kedusha, the idea of, it's an interesting point of view. Although I feel that he would take Yosef as, because the Judah is the Haredi and Yosef is the modern, the Chilonim, the worker. But for him, Yosef is a problematic figure. If you read this, it's quite a problematic figure. Mistakes after mistakes.
La Torah, même le joséphisme était à deux parties.
Ouais.
Dès que cette chemin commence, c'est une faillite totale de la chute.
Ouais, c'est ce qu'il dit.
Un faillissement de la chute.
That's what he says.
Que si on pourrait juger Yosef,
ouais.
S'il passe ça, peut-être qu'il n'aurait pas eu ça.
Non.
Non. Pourquoi Vaya comme Melech Chodesh? Car il provoque.
Ouais.
Il provoque l'antisémitisme en voulant régner.
Ouais.
Donc Vaya comme Melech Chodesh. Et puis il amène, il n'y a plus de juifs d'autre part. Il n'y a plus de Néa d'autre part. Il amène ça un peu.
Ouais. That's ce qu'il dit. It's exactly the words which Manitou says. It's a failure of the system. He also thought that he can create and he's going to become. And no, they like the person, but not his values, not his opinions. The opinions did not continue. The moment he died, the Egyptians rejected the system.
No,
it's a mistake. He believed that he can change. Egypt didn't change at all.
Also, in last departure, we see the Egyptians were angry because to get food, they said you have to make this meal, and then they went to Paroi, and he said he can ruin us. So even then already they were not happy with the way how
he tried to impose monotheism, and he failed. And he tried to bring Klal Yisrael to Mitzrayim as becoming, and from there we will, and he failed. His shifter was a failure, and that is a message to us as well. We have to know there is that it's not.
Don't be a yekker.
Don't be a yekker, and in Germany, because then you'll be Teure. It's like what Manitou says. It's Teure in the Heretz Germani. You understand what I'm saying? So you become Germans. You become French. You cannot become universal. you adapt whenever you are. We are Belgian, whether we like it. I mean, besides the French, but it depends where you live the longest of your life. So depends on the whole but in other words, you adopt the nation where you live in, and therefore it doesn't work. If you want to become a universal, when you come to Olagoim, you have to do it from Eretz Yisrael, where you can be who you are, and that's Manitou's. This is in general the more Zionistic point of view. And Reb Volish, he holds no, you can be a Jew in Germany as well, and that's where you have to. So there is no reason. But the question is, but you do see the difference between a Yaki and a Polish. You do see it, whether you like it or not. So, okay, now there is a second part which I would like to speak in. There is the 70. So it says here that the how many above nefesh kol nefesh al beis Yaakov above Mitzrayim Shivim. There is something very interesting here which I wanted to point out. The Netziv already says that it's not possible. That it's not possible, mathematically not possible. There is, first of all, if you look at the ratio of male and female, it's 34:1. 34 boys for 1 girl. Yeah? Which is, a bit squeezed to male dominance. It could be genetically that Yaakov had the genes of that produced a lot of.
Excluded.
What? No, but it says kol nefesh, and then it says also. What? Sorry? Yeah, the neshe.
Yeah.
The neshe, only his wives.
Yeah.
But the
daughters are not. Yeah.
So it seems not possible when it says. So what he wants to say, and this is very, very advanced, he wants to say that the 70 is symbolic. So it's a 70 is a symbol, and he wants to bring it down to explain something which I thought that this was only modern French philosophers that tend to say that, but he brings it down as a posuk in Hazinu, that he says, the Hamche Elyon Goyim, when Hashem decided to create nations, when he decided to separate when he separated the human being, Yatsev Gevulois Amin, when he made borders, created nations, what does he say? Le Mispar B'nei Yisrael. So how many nations did he create? Le Mispar B'nei Yisrael, which is 70. In other words, the Jewish nation, this is the first time in a posuk that uses symbolism. I never saw it in a posuk, symbolism. It's the first time that it speaks about the nation. The number of nations is equal to the number of people of Bnei Israel. In other words, he compares the Bnei Israel as representative of humanity. The number of nations will be the number of families that came into Eretz Israel, which are the foundation of the Jewish nation. It's unbelievable possible. I'll say it again. That's how the Netziv explains. Rashi also, but not really in that direction. Rashi goes in more religious direction. But he explains that in other words, the 70 nations are 70 families represent 70 nations of the world. That's a very interesting point of view, first of all. So in other words, there were many more. But the Netziv explains, what he does explain is that all the other sons and daughters that is not counted in the Pasuk are because they are not, enough characters. They don't have enough personality to be part of, counted as a nation. You understand? So they lack, interestingly, it gives them, they did not have the charisma or a particularity, uniqueness that is enough to say. So there is like 70 families, there were maybe 200 families, and those 70s are going to be the one representing the 70 nations. It's like when you have a city that is the Bruder, how do you call it? So this is for this nation, this family is for the Belgian nation, this one is for the Luxembourg, this is from France. So everybody had this kind of separation. That's the Netzillet. Comes him, Yeshua Berman, and he points out something very interesting. If you see here in the numbers, there is something very interesting going on. So you see here that the children of Leah is how much? Is 33. How much is the children of Zilpo? 16. How much is the children of Rochel? Is 14. Yeah, because this is together with Binyamin and Yosef and Menashe, and Binyamin and Yosef together. That's 12. And how much is Bilo? 7. So he wants to explain like that. He says when the Torah gives numbers, it's not a census like we know today, like statistical census, but it is symbol of status. The more military you have, the bigger status you are. Sometimes the Torah will give, he had 112,000 military. It's not possible. There is no such a concept, 112,000. But you will see in the numbers that his father had just a half. In other words, the Torah wants to teach us that the son was even bigger. But he gives him double the amount of soldiers. And we see that his grandfather had the half of the father. So the Torah simply wants to give us a symbolic number in order to show the status. And so he says like that, Leo had 33, but actually 32. When you count, it's 32. So Chazal explained because of Dino,
But Dino was 32.
What?
Dino was number 32.
No, it was. If you count them, it's 32 normally.
Yeah, the count is 32 would be.
There's Dino, Bitor, 32. You're right. And so who was the 33? Yocheved? No.
It was Erdogan that but they were dead.
No. Who was the 33rd? The 33rd?
Yeah, it was written that she was.
Yocheved.
Yeah.
Yocheved should know the Ben Achronim. Sorry, Yocheved, not Dino. Dino was counted. Yocheved, yeah. So, but he explained, he wants to say no, because it starts off the Pasuk, the Yaakov Ubonov, Bechor Yaakov Reuven. What does he have to mention Bechor Yaakov Reuven? That Reuven will be counted twice. So according to the text, Reuven is counted twice, and therefore it's 32. But the essence is 32, but the count is 33, but it's 32. How much did Zilpo have? 16. How much is it? The double of the 32. So in reality, so in other words, he wants to show us that Leo had much more status than how much did Rochel have? 14. And how much had 7, which is the half. In other words, to show that the core mothers, the matriarch, the first matriarch, they were double in status than the Pilakshin.
But what about the difference between Leo and Buch?
It's also double nearly. It's nearly double. Yeah. It's 49 or 48 versus 21.
No, between them.
Yeah.
Leo look up.
It's 32 versus 14. It's not really it's more than double. More than double.
But Buch didn't have.
No, Rochel did not. Leo had really a high status. Yeah. Because otherwise there is a lot of contradiction, and that's the problem. In Pinchas, you read Pinchas, it repeats that. There's a lot of missing names suddenly disappears. And the orders change. The additions and the orders are changed. What's going on here? In Pinchas, Pinchas, there is when he makes the count and he gives all the families again, he repeats them. There are additions and there are omissions, there are numbers, the orders don't match. So we want to explain because the status has changed. It represents the status of the family. That's what he wants to say. We take it today history, we look at history as a factual book. But history was never a factual book, it was always to convey a message. And you can change the fact, as long as you convey the right message. That's today we cannot accept it, especially with journalism. You have to be factual, and a storybook has to be factual. It was never like that. The cultural difference that we live in, that we cannot understand, and therefore it is even what? Yeah.
The story we have is just funny. We are always in Israel. The crime that we have that's totally acceptable for us. Since Israel is not an history book.
If you go that way.
Okay. But,
Yeah. Who says that?
I need back.
Please send me that. I know what you mean, and it's good you telling me that. Yeah. But in any case, the danger of this is that you open a Pandora box, because then, like I said, everything becomes symbolic. Maybe the myths are not really, and therefore you can start. You don't know where you are start and where you end. But that's why I don't like it. I don't like it. I prefer to first learn Chazal, how they explain the discrepancy, and then, by the way, there is a very nice explanation how you can academically explain it. But we have to believe in our Chazal, otherwise you don't know anymore where you're standing.
Generally, yeah. When later on all the census,
yeah,
it was only the male.
Yeah, but here there was also a girl, huh? There was Sarah.
Yeah, so
why one exception?
Yes, so Dino, you could answer because she should have been a boy.
Yeah.
But Kenzo.
We'll say she was trans.
Yeah. I remember I gave it to you that I think it was Yosef that should have was born as a girl. He was born with or Yehuda. I don't remember. One of the Shvotim was born with a girl's neshama, but a boy's body. So
no, because it was even written somewhere or in Rashi that by every child there was also a sister which was born.
There was twins.
Maybe they didn't live anymore.
That's what they say. They say they must have died, but it's a tragedy. And I mean, we should have seen somewhere. There's no. The Torah does not explain how come that.
No, then you come back, but he said that it's not a history book.
No, that's why. Yeah, that's exactly what he also. Yeah, it's not. It's a history book, but it's a history book that wants to convey a message.
Yeah,
the message is status, and not so much the accuracy of the numbers, and it's really to show the status. And today status for men it's Rolex, or all the others, and BMW, and at that time it was the number of children and in the number of military. That was the number of military. And sometimes it was just, and then they exaggerated numbers. There is he goes as far as to explain that even the 600,000 is an exaggeration, a strong exaggeration, because it's not possible. Theoretically, according archaeologically, and also physically, that 2 million people, that we were 2 million, that case, million, so 100,000 was only the men that could fight. There were 2 million. To move 2 million, especially Jews, start moving, it would take, I don't know if you know how by Levi goes, the movement, it takes a long time till the end start moving. Imagine you have 2 million people moving. It's without Erev. Exactly. It's not possible. It would take a whole day. Oh, so that's why we need to explain it. No, I'll be there. Whatever. It's a difficult stuff what he said, but there is a lot to speak about. 600,000 for me it represents the different individuals. So if you want the difference between us as individuals, there are 600,000 is the number that represents the diversity as individuals. That's the 600,000. We see that also that suddenly Toysers, the French, the Ashkenazic Shonim, Sarabim. We know the Rosh Sarabim, the Gemara said 16 Amos. And suddenly Toysers mentioned, and 600,000 people have to pass. Not in the Gemara. It's not a. This is French, the Ashkenazic see the Rosh Sarabim 600,000 as well. And so where are the women and children? There were also women and children. So Toysers said, no, but at least 600,000 was mentioned. What? Well, but they had to move. They had no choice. But they had to go out. But they had to move with. Yeah. C'est pour ça que je dis, c'est dangereux. I agree.
Les gars, ils m'ont parlé de ça. Et ça n'était que quelques milliers là-bas.
Non, je n'ai pas dit quelques milliers.
Non,
Des centaines de milliers, c'est déjà aussi pas mal. 1 million.
La planète, l'humanité entière a été influencée.
Ouais.
Hein?
Ouais. Il parle de ça, il parle de Kuzari. Ouais, il parle de ça, ouais.
Alors, tu restes avec rien. Et tu penses qu'on a 100 000. Le Mahamad n'est pas compris. Mahamad, la mer n'est pas vraiment ouverte. Enfin, il ne reste rien.
I agree. That's why I don't like it, especially since it's not 600,000, but it goes. There is a number which is how much? 603,230. I don't remember anymore. It's a number which is not rounded, so it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. But in general, the idea is clear.
Une conférence dans les années 90, la fin des années 80, et le sujet était Moshe Rabbeinu.
Ouais.
Vous savez, les religions, les islam,
Ouais.
les chrétiens, pas dans quelque chose de pas normal.
Ouais.
Ne peut pas venir que c'est pas vraiment facile.
No, that is not. I agree. Like I said, it's a very, but as I use it, because if you count the Rosh Hashanah, you'll ask the whole, I counted 599,000, or I counted that 599,000. You would say it's not Rosh Hashanah. Although that the 600,000 is not correct. 600,000 is definitely a rounding. It should be 603,000, I don't remember any. 550, yeah. 603,550. Joyce doesn't say that. No, none of them say that you have to count the exact 603. So what? You see here, it's a symbolic number, 100,000, even for the Rishonim.
It brings a lot of people.
That's a symbol of a lot of people.
Yeah, it's very strange. It never ends with the 2 or with the 7 or with the 8.
So he speaks about the statistics of ending, how it's the 100, not for the 100. So it's 400 and 500, never 100, never 900 and 800. So in the Torah you don't find that. It's interesting. There are some statistics in the numbers. I understand them from a purely analytical perspective. I can understand them, but like what he said, if you start doing that, then you open it. You don't know where it ends. So for me, there are 600,000 represents a different spaces. The Ramchal explains 600,000 different ways we can understand the Torah, which is represented by 70 nations, a group of nations, 12 Shvotim. The Shvotim for me represents the 12 means the history, the cycle that the history repeats itself, 12 hours in a day and 12 months in a year. It's the cycle that the thing cycle itself, and then you have 7, which represents nature. Nature is 7. It's the idea of the Shabbos, the Shana whole, that everything is there, even table, everything. There was originally the mukta, everything was mukta. The side it changed. It was upside down, but everything was. So nature had to rest. Everything, kalim, behemoths. So this is 7 represents the nature. Like remember in the 4 levels of Kuk, you have the individual. Individuals, we are 600,000 different. It represents the diversity. The nation, 70. Humanity, 12. The 12 14 that represents humanity. And then you have the nature, it's 7. And then you have on the top is the 3, which is equal to 1. The, the triangle, the Prof Nodino and Test Nodino, which is above, which is the Volgo, which is 1. The oneness that is all comes back to the oneness. So this is how I see the number, the symbol of the numbers that always comes back in the Torah. On the 9th of Teves, just to close off, at the 9th of Teves, which is Thursday, the Shulchan Aruch writes and the proof that in Megillah Steinitz says that it is a fast day, but we don't know why. So it says the Chachamim did not tell us. It's like you can see in Shulchan Aruch and in the Tur says we have our Rabboseinu loy omru lomu, something like that. And so there are some who want to explain, we wrote down in the Shulchan Aruch, the Mishnah Berurah, that it may be because it's the day that Ezra Sefer died. So there's a theory that Ezra died. But there are other books, that say because it's the day that he was born. He was born on that day, that's David. And because he politically correct or to pass the book, they removed that risk and they left it open, assuming that if they left it open, people will understand that there is something hidden. What?
By Paradim in their side, there was no.
You're right. Why? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they did not want to mention it. But the Akadmonim who write that it was his birthday, which Test David, and I checked it on a calendar. So Test David falls on the 23rd of December in our current calendar. But if you use the Gregorian, the Julian calendar, what?
Every year.
No, but on that year.
No.
So if you go back on
Yeah,
that year.
but then the calendar was.
Oh, and so it was the 23rd. And then when I changed, there is a website that put the Gregorian to the Julian calendar, which was the first. And the 23rd of December of the year 0 was -1. I don't remember if I had to put 0 -1. Is actually the 25th of December. Yeah. It was the 25th of December. So that's
And what's the union? But,
because it's the beginning of
uh-huh.
our suffering of this Christianity as European. The other explanation I gave
Because really we don't.
of no, no, but it could also be because for them it became a Yom Tov, for us there's another reason why the 25th of December, that I explained I think last time, was because that's the 25th of Kislev was always celebrated because it's the darkest beginning of the darkest week of the year, both because it's the shortest day and the longest night, and also because the moon, by the way, the moon was quite strong this year. So, even when it was little, but it's the last week of the moon, and therefore it becomes very dark. And celebrate that, we celebrate with light. And they believe that that the Torah, normally we believe it's the Torah that is our light. They believe that he was the light, and therefore they celebrate his birth on the 25th of Kislev. When they moved from the lunar calendar to the solar calendar, they just proposed 25th of Kislev, and they made it 25th of December. It makes sense because they didn't have any more Kislev. They went to the Julian calendar in the beginning, and so they just moved it to that date. So that's why they celebrate the 25th. Normally, 25th is because we celebrate light. It was a light celebration. That's why the menorah, the Mishkan was finished on the 25th, and the second place Hamikdash was on the 25th. The top built the 25th. As it says in the Nacht. So the 25th of Kislev is really the day to celebrate light because it's the darkest moment of the year, and that's why the 25th. So you have two reasons why they celebrate 25th of December: either because 25th of Kislev that became 25th of December, or it's got the test daybreak, and that year was stuck on the 25th of December according to the Roman calendar. What?
When did it start?
No, potato.
Let's be clear, when it was this because.
Well, we don't do it today. We don't do it today.
Because it's very late in the story because it's actually also when Maximum was born.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. That apparently in the Kadmonim they explain that at the David he was born.
Yeah, but at the moment they didn't know when. I mean, you can say to the guy, you can go to the client and say you have to be fed today on the tour because he was born and it's mad. But nowadays, but it doesn't mean that was any reason. I can do the same for.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that this is how some of the Kadmonim explain. Some explain the day that Eva died. Others explain the oyster born. And the potato by chance, and I found that it was on the 23rd of December. And when if I remember correctly, I had a shear, but I can't find it back anymore. It's a shame. I gave a shear on that where I show it was on Zoom and a website where you can transform from the Gregorian to the Julian calendar, and it's still on the 20th. That's an explanation. So, in short, we saw
the David is September. David is
yeah. So we had 3 days of fast.
Only the rich do say.
Well, you took coupe. Yeah.
Only the rich.
What? Only the little yeah. This would take. Yeah, and then we use their calendar. Okay, so we saw the idea that Reuben not and Shimon and Levi also not. We still need to work on Shimon. But if you have something like what you have, that he has to become a Nazi. I would like to see that. If you can need it.
And hear that in French, even
In a show. Okay.
somebody if I will find it.
I'll ask ChatGPT. It's unbelievable. You can ask. Unbelievable. In Hebrew, you ask him Shiloh, ChatGPT gives you. Now, I don't trust him because he invents, but at least he refers. He gives you the source.
Someone asked me yesterday if you are going to what that will.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. We already do it with Google. Yeah. I mean, if I have to know, if I can't remember, am I allowed to cut my nails on Chol HaMoed? I'm not allowed to cut my nails on Chol HaMoed. How do I do? I'm not going to bother a bit. I'll just Google, and it gives me already. It gives me on the top. It gives me already the halachot on the top. We already do.
He is a volume story for the web in He was put
Yeah.
they are turned, and my son told for me, and he asked me who.
Give me a
Show me the print.
Yeah.
With the Yemen, the Pump, and Marin Coin.
Yeah, with Martin Coin and everything.
And it's
correct. Beautiful.
Yeah, but it's
Frightening.
Yeah, it's frightening. But
yeah, I put in a few things. What's the difference between brocha and the net? Remember the shiur I gave it the brocha and the net. The brocha is not the net. Give me a whole explanation how it. I asked him what's the difference between living us and money. And he made a whole beautiful work and in other words, it's
so what's frightening is the main source of line is in Wikipedia. It's quite less.
Wikipedia. Very less.
So that's it
transpires to the mind of the machine, of course.
I feel
Et là, il n'y a pas des temps.
Ah oui, et on n'avance pas.
Non, mais ça, il dit, c'est pour des blancs, des hommes, il est très raciste, Tchadji, en plus.
It's an amazing tool for me. When I have to prepare, then I can double check what I'm saying. Did you find? What do you think of this idea? I mean, I didn't put it, but the first dream of Yosef is more of himself, and the second dream is like from within the family. I'm sure he's going to give me yeah, and this, and you're right, and I didn't find it, but I think it's very good because of this and that, and it would keep the argument, which I find amazing. I don't know. For me, it's amazing, but it's frightening because where does it go? And we don't know where it goes. Even my job is today. My job becomes yeah. Today, we are only at the beginning. We're only at the beginning. What?
No, it's actually because ChatGPT stopped learning at certain time.
Yeah.
And
No, obsolete my job.
Yeah.
My job. No,
Yeah.
because I am a consultant. I give a business strategy. You ask, this is my business. Can you give me my marketing plan, business plan, and it's just
Qu'est-ce que la bourse va faire demain?
non,
Ah.
non, mais
Ah,
il
oui,
y a
non,
des gens qui ne pas plus dans l'ordinateur.
qui font du starting. Le starting, c'est le AI. Le starting. Il y a plein de gens qui ont des
Ouais. Il y a de la prédiction dans la prédiction.
Mais c'est modèle. Ça gagne de l'argent, oui ou non? Donc, on investit par cette.
Ouais, on pourrait. Ouais. C'est pas seulement ChatGPT, hein, il y a plus, hein, il y a des centaines de différentes. Et ça, GPT, c'est
Gagner de l'argent.
Ça fait déjà des années. Gagner. Tant que le marché. Tant que le propos suit le propos, alors ça va. Momentum. Voilà.
I just wanted to say that I'm trying to explain that authoritative is a day that the kind of multiply. They want to explain that if theoretically Bob would ram that if authoritative would fall on Shabbos, we would start on Shabbos. So rice is not a problem because we would eat on Friday night, not fast in 24 hours. The rice would be not a problem, but we would start. Explain why we fast on Shabbos, because it's like Thomas alone. The idea is that the Thomas alone is you're allowed to fast on Shabbos because you're nervous. If it is for the past, then you're not allowed to. Obviously, you have to be happy. But if you're nervous because something will happen, then you are allowed to. And since we are nervous, one more has to come. And in October, it's the day that it's decided the Mashiach will come here, and therefore we're allowed to fast because you are nervous for the future, and that's why they want to explain. They will be tackled with what? If we can come this week, yeah, if Ravendra said that we should, what did he say? Because the time it will turn into a Yom Tov, we should make an Erev Tafshin this year. He said we should make an Erev Tafshin this year. We'll be certain that Asor V'Tevet will have to make on Thursday an Erev Tafshin in B'nei Rob Yameinu Amen.